Shalom. Before I get started with this lesson, first and foremost, I'm going to give all praises, glory, and honor unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakudash. Double honors, as always, to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, all right, who taught us all this truth. All right, Shalom, taught Akim and this truth and sincerity. And I'm going to do this quick overview of the book of Joel, chapter 2, verses 1 through 10. And I might do a part 2, going into the rest of the chapter. But for now, I'll just do verses 1 through 10. All right, and I got precepts lined up. Okay, but without further ado, Joel chapter 2 and verse 1. It says, in the heading or the title says, the terrible visitation. Because we're living in a time where that terrible visitation is right at the door. All right, the day of the Lord. Okay, so it says, blow ye the trumpet in Zion, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. All right, so blowing the trumpet in the ancient world goes into, warning the people of danger, of impending doom, if you will. And in modern times, blowing the trumpet is us doing these lessons. In modern times, us blowing the trumpet is going out there on the highways and byways, all right, as we're commanded to, all throughout the scriptures, all right? It says that in Proverbs, all right? Yahweh Shai said that to go out in the highways and hedges. So that's a modern example of blowing the trumpet, all right? We don't actually go out, in the city and actually blow an ancient world, ram's horn, okay? We don't do that, but us, telling the people of what's coming, that's us blowing the trumpet. And matter of fact, I didn't plan on getting this scripture, but real quick, let me get Ezekiel chapter 33. Just an example of us blowing the trumpet. Ezekiel 33, and I'll start at 3. It says, if when he, as if you read up, is talking about the watchman, which we're spiritual watchmen, because we're watching for the prophecies. Okay, the main prophecy we're watching for right now is the MOTB. All right, Revelation chapter 13 and 16. But it says, if he seeth the sword come upon the land, he blow the trumpet and warn the people. So we see the sword coming. All right, we see death and destruction is coming. All right, we see the so-called white man, which are the biblical Edomites, the devil that the Bible speaks of. We see that this devil is preparing, man, with his weapons, all right, with his robots, his DARPA dogs, with his drones, with his LiDAR technology, aircraft that could scan you from above, and ultimately the thermonuclear missiles, the ICBMs, which I'm going to get into, Lord willing, and through the Spirit. So we see the sword coming and we're warning the people. It says, then whosoever heareth the sound of the trumpet, which the sound of the trumpet is us warning the people, and taketh not warning, if the sword come and take him away, his blood shall be upon his own head. So if the people hear us, warning them like, destruction is coming, that's what we're telling the people. America's going to be destroyed by thermonuclear missiles. They're going to implement the RFID hit. They're going to implement the MOTB. There's going to be a famine. You won't be able to buy or sell without that digital, device, without that electronic tag. So that's we're warning the people. That's the sword. They're going to have troops kicking in doors, bringing people to throwing people in detention camps. We're warning the people that. But if they don't listen, their blood is going to be on them. Our hands are clean. We warned them. We did our job. All right. They can't say they weren't warned. That's what that's saying. So that means when they died, that means, hey, that was on them. They chose that. All right. Even though there's no free will, it's really an illusion of choice. Because, Yahweh Shem Shai already predestined everything to play out the way that it's going to play out. But we still have choices, all right? It's just that those choices were predetermined, all right? But, that's another lesson for another time. Verse 5, it says, he heard the sound of the trumpet and took not warning. His blood shall be upon him. But he that taketh warning shall deliver his soul. So the ones that listen to us blowing the trumpet, that's the elect of the nation of Israel, of which we hope to be a part of. Because when we heard this truth, we took heed to it. What does it say? He that taketh warning shall deliver his soul. So when we heard this truth, we actually took warning. We were like, oh shit, this is real. This is life and death, man. That's the spirit that we had when we heard this truth. Speaking for myself personally, like, oh shit. Excuse my language, but I'm just trying to convey to you the energy that you're supposed to have, that a member of the elect would have. Lord willing, we're a part of that. Like, this is serious, man. It's World War III. There's about to be a lot of bloodshed, and ultimately this place is going to be destroyed. This is serious. All right, verse 2, it says, a day of darkness and of gloominess, a day of clouds and of thick darkness, as the morning spread upon the mountains. It says, a great people and a strong. Which, matter of fact, it says a day of darkness and of gloominess. It says in, I'm not going to get it, but I'm going to quote it in Amos, the 5th chapter. I believe around verse 18, if I'm not mistaken. But it's in Amos chapter 5, but it says the day of the Lord is darkness and not light. Because it's going to be a very dark day, because, it's going to be a lot of confusion. Anyone who's not of the elect, they're going to be in the dark in more ways than one. They're going to be in the dark in more ways than one, because, number one, the power grid is going to be shut off in America, and it's going to get dark. All right. And it's going to be supernaturally dark too, because that was one of the plagues of Egypt, darkness. So it's going to be a supernatural darkness. That's on one level. On another level, they don't have wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Like it says in Isaiah 33:6, wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy time. So these people are going to be in darkness in more ways than one. But the elect, Lord willing, we're a part of that. We're going to have light, because we have the light right now, which is this truth. So in that day, we're going to be stable. We're going to have faith in Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, that he's going to deliver us out of every situation. It says, as the morning spread upon the mountains, a great people and a strong. Now, that's not talking about actual people. That's talking about the nuclear missiles. And, it's going to go into it even more, continuing on. It says, there have never been the like. There have not been ever the like. Neither shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generations. Because, after World War III, that's going to be the last war. After those missiles hit, after, Babylon the Great is destroyed off the face of the earth, and all the wicked are burned up into stubble, that's it. That's never going to happen again, That's why this is one of the greatest times ever, because this is never going to happen again. After this place is wiped away, after World War III, came and went, after Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, his true name is Yahweh Shai, which Yahweh Shai means he delivers. After Yahweh Shai comes and delivers the elect, Lord willing, we're a part of that, and saves us, that's never going to happen again. That great deliverance and that great destruction will never happen again. And I got a few precepts. I got actually 3 precepts to back that up. It's never going to be a time like that. The greatest time that the planet Earth has ever seen. Daniel chapter 12:1, it says, and at that time Michael shall stand, Salakia, and at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people. All right, Michael the archangel, he's one of the highest ranking angels in the Lord's army. It says, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. So that's speaking about the same, time that Joel is talking about. All right, the day of the Lord, the time of Jacob's trouble, if you will. It says, and at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book of life, which is the elect of the nation of Israel. All right, next scripture I want to get is Matthew chapter 24. And these scriptures are all talking about the same day, the same event. All right, Matthew 24 and 21. It says, for there shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time. No, nor ever shall be. That's the time of Jacob's trouble, the day of the Lord. That's what it's talking about in Joel. This is all talking about the same great day, of which, as I mentioned, we're warning the people this day is coming. It's at the door. All right, the door is already slowly opening. All right. Verse 22, and except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. All right. It's not about the whole nation of Israel being saved. It's not about the whole everyone on the planet Earth being saved. All nations could be saved. No. Only the elect of the nation of Israel will be saved. All right. And when it says except those days shall be shortened, meaning it's not going to be very long. All right. Things are going to move fast. Stuff is going to be happening fast. The prophecies are going to be coming to pass fast. Once that MOTB is implemented, everything is going to move fast. For us, for these people in the world, just speculating, but it's probably not going to be fast for these people, these wicked people in the world. It's probably going to feel like forever because they're going to be suffering. The Lord's going to be constantly judging them. Back to back, these people are going to be judged. So it's probably not going to be fast for them. But for us, the elect, it's going, from our point of view, it's going to be fast. Lord willing, That's just a speculation. I'm just speaking as a man. But a last scripture on that, last precept on that, just to drive it all home, Jeremiah chapter 30 and 7. It says, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. So that great day of the Lord, there's never going to be a time like that. The title of that day is the time of Jacob's trouble. All right. That's the title for that day. And it's Jacob's trouble because the Lord is going to punish the wicked of his people for their rebelliousness. So continuing on, it says, a fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth. The land is as the garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness. Yea, and nothing shall escape them. All right. It says, let me read that one more time. Joel 2 and 3. A fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth. The land is as the garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness. Because those nuclear missiles is going to destroy the whole land. Because right now, America is actually a beautiful land. There's different, national parks, different, like the Grand Canyon. There's different landmarks. There's different areas in America that's actually beautiful. Here in Georgia, we're GMS Atlanta. Here in Georgia, there's a lot of beautiful places in Georgia. But this place is going to be wiped off the face of the earth. All right? All the trees, all the rivers. If I'm not mistaken, Habakkuk even said that to the Lord. Like, were you mad at the rivers? Were you mad at the animals? Because that destruction is going to be so great. It's going to be like, damn, was the Lord mad at the earth? Was he mad at the land itself? But prophecy has to be fulfilled. This land, the Lord created this land and predestined this land to be destroyed. And it shall be destroyed. That's why it says, yea, and nothing shall escape them. The only thing that's making it out is the elect of the nation of Israel. The appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, and as horsemen, so shall they run. This is still talking about that great people and the strong which is really the missiles, not actual people, not actual horses. This is just a parable or a dark saying talking about the missiles. All right. Verse 5. The noise of like the noise of chariots on the top of mountains, on the tops of mountains shall they leap, like the noise of a flame of fire that devoureth the stubble, as a strong people set in battle array. Now I'm gonna get a precept going into that. Again, it's talking about the hypersonic ICBMs, all right, the nuclear missiles, whatever you want to call them. It's talking about the missiles, all right. So Revelation chapter 9 and verse 16, it says, and the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000. And I heard the number of them. So there's 200 million warheads, all right? Because the warheads are the actual power of the missile, all right? The whole missile isn't gonna the whole missile doesn't, explode. The only thing that explodes and causes that nuclear destruction is the warhead. That's like the teeth, and it goes into that. All right, and also it says the army because the missiles are actually a part of the Lord's army. The Lord, had it set up to where the scientists, Esau's scientists, the Lord is poetic, man. He used this, the Lord, he made this devil create his own destruction. The Lord is poetic. But that's how the Lord set it up. But the missiles are a part of the Lord's army. It says, verse 17, this is the point. And thus I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them having breastplates of fire and of jacinth and brimstone. So that goes into what it says in Joel, as a people set in battle array. All right. It says breastplates of fire. That's battle array, man. That's talking about, the nukes, the warheads. It says, and the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions, and out of their mouth issued fire and smoke and brimstones. So the heads, that's speaking about, the warheads. All right, like lions, because of what does a lion do? A lion bites, a lion devours. The warhead does exactly the same thing. It devours. That fire is going to devour America, man. It says, out of their mouth issued fire and smoke and brimstone, just like how Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed. All right. Matter of fact, I'm going to keep reading. It says, by these three, the third part of men were killed. Salakia, by these three, the third part of men killed. All right. By the fire, by the smoke, and by the brimstone which issued out of their mouths. So the third part of man is speaking about, the Edomites. All right, because there's three classifications of men in the scriptures. There's the sons of God, which are us, the Israelites, the sons of men, which are the other nations, and you got the sons of the wicked, which is the third part of man, which are the so-called white race, the Edomites. All right, so those missiles are going to wipe out all Edomites in this land, all right, which are our enemies. And it's going to wipe out the 2/3 and the other nations, Anyone who's on this land is going to get wiped out. Verse 19 is, for their power is in their mouth and their tails. For their tails were like unto serpents and had heads, and with them they do hurt. So the power is in the heads, because that's the warhead, man. That's where the power is. That's where, the elements are going to melt with fervent heat from the warheads. And the power is also in their tails, because that's the thrust, the rockets. That's what's actually going to, propel the missiles up in the air, and take them to their destination. And it says it looks like serpents. And when you look up a picture of certain missiles that get launched at nighttime, it looks literally like a glowing serpent. So that's what, John the Revelator saw. But going back to Joel, I'm not trying to make this lesson too long. Verse 8, it says, neither shall, matter of fact, I skipped 6. It says, before their face, the people shall be much pain. All faces shall gather blackness. Because these people are going to be terrified, man. They're going to be petrified with fear when they see those missiles flying, and when they see the chariots of Israel, which are the so-called UFOs. And really, from all the judgment and the plagues, the apparitions from everything that the Lord's about to bring in the day of the Lord, these people are going to be just, through. And the Lord's going to force them to go through it. The scripture says men's heart is going to fail them for fear. All right, but they're still going to have to go through it, It says, they shall run like mighty men. Slakia. What was that? Verse 7. They shall run like mighty men. They shall climb the wall like men of war. And they shall march every one to his ways. They shall not break their ranks, meaning all the missiles are going to hit their targets. Okay? All the missiles are going to hit their targets. It says, neither shall they thrust one another. They shall walk every one in his path. They shall not fall upon the sword. They shall not be wounded. All the missiles are going to hit their targets. All right, there's not going to be a missile defense system that's going to take out a couple hundred missiles. No, every single missile is going to hit its target, thus saith the Lord. Verse 9. They shall run to and fro in the city. They shall run upon the wall. They shall climb up upon the houses. They shall enter into the windows like a thief. All right, so when it says they shall run to and fro in the city, that city is talking about Babylon the Great, that great city Babylon. All right, and they shall run upon the wall, meaning their missile defense system isn't going to do shit. Just saying it bluntly, that missile defense system isn't going to stop the missiles. All right. And matter of fact, I got a precept to that. Ezekiel 38. Which Ezekiel 38 goes into World War III. Ezekiel 38, and I'll start at 10. It says, thus saith the Lord power, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. It shall also come to pass that at the same time shall things come into thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought. And that evil thought that's going to come into the minds of these leaders, such as Putin, all these world leaders, I'm not going to name all of them, but that evil thought is them, pushing that red button. All right. Verse 11, it says, and the reason I say Putin is because it's mainly talking about Russia, but Russia and all their allies, But Putin, man, he's that guy. He's that guy. He's the one who's going to be the spearhead of the destruction, so to speak. But the Lord is using him, Ultimately, fuck Putin. The credit goes to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. The Lord is about to judge this place. All right? And the Lord's going to judge Russia too. Verse 10. It says, verse 11, this is the point. And thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages. I will go to them that are at rest, that dwell safely, all of them dwelling without walls, having neither bars nor gates. That's talking about America. These people are at rest. That these people, they think, when they shall say peace and safety, that's the spirit that these Americans are in. But they're in for a rude awakening, man. All right, it's almost comical. But verse 10, I'm going to end off with this. It says, the earth shall quake before them. The heavens shall tremble. The sun and the moon shall be dark. The stars shall withdraw their shining. So the earth is going to shake at the power of all those missiles hitting. So much so that it says in Isaiah that the earth is going to reel to and fro like a drunkard, meaning the whole planet Earth itself, Lord willing, we're the elect, we're going to be looking at the planet Earth from an outside view because the chariots are going to beam us out. The chariots are going to take us out to the upper atmosphere. And then once we enter into the chariot, once all the elect enters into it, the chariot is going to kind of fly back. And we're going to be looking at the earth from we're going to be able to see the whole planet Earth. But we're mainly going to be focusing on America. And it's going to get hit with those missiles. It's going to be so powerful, the whole earth is going to shake. Like something out of an anime, like something out of Dragon Ball Z. The whole planet is going to shake back and forth. It's going to be wild, man. But it says, the sun and the moon shall be dark, and the stars shall withdraw their shining, because all that smoke is going to block out the sky. All right. But I'm going to end off with this. This is a precept to that. Going back to the book of Revelation in chapter 11 and 12, it says, and they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, which that cloud is speaking about a chariot, what the world ignorantly calls UFOs. All right. And the ones that are going to ascend up is the elect of the nation of Israel. All right. 12,000 out of each tribe. It says, and of course, outside of the 144,000, the 1/3, which consists of men, women, and children. All right. It says, and their enemies beheld them. So once we're getting beamed up, Lord willing, all of our enemies are going to see us. All right. The 2/3, the other nations, and the Edomites, the devil, they're going to all see us getting beamed up. And they're still going to be on the ground looking at the missiles fall and about to hit them. And this is the point, verse 13. In the same hour, there was a great earthquake, and a 10th part of the city fell. Which is the 10th part of the city? That's just talking about America, from the East Coast to the West Coast. Every square mile of America is going to be destroyed. It says, and the earthquake were slain of men 7,000, which is a complete number, meaning everyone who's on the ground is going to die. Anyone who doesn't get beamed up is going to die. That's what that 7,000 represents. And the remnant were affrighted and gave glory to the power of heaven, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. So the remnant is going to be, shaken up. The elect, when we get beamed up, we're going to be shaken up, because that's how great the destruction is going to be. But Lord willing, this lesson was edifying to the elect of the nation of Israel. Once again, all praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the elder apostles, great millstone. Shalom to the